Scratched surface of open marriage. Wife wants an open marriage, I do not. Warning. Lots of details, want to give as full of a story as possible. Background. 25M and 25F. Married for 2 years, been together for 6. 2 children together, one is 2 and some months and the other just turned 1. We have a home together, vehicles, animals, 5 acres of land, etc. I work and she's a stay-at-home mother by choice, who recently decided that she wanted to go back to work. Not made of money, but really not struggling. We have amazing sex, I don't really think that it could get any better and she has told me the same for years. Overall I'd say that we have a pretty good marriage and life. She has always been my very best friend, we've always been open with each other, she stuck with me through anything and everything we've been through in life. Story leading to now. A few weeks ago, she told me that she wanted to have sex with a woman, and asked me if that would be fine with me. Even suggested maybe having a threesome with another woman. I agreed, and suggested that she download Tinder, my first mistake. She did, and then while setting it up, asked if she should set it to only women, and I told her that she could put her preference to men and women both. My wife is a pretty good-looking woman, but never thought that she was after having children. I figured it might give her a confidence boost or something, IDK. Anyway, then she tells me that I should download Tinder as well. I really didn't want to, but I did. She gets thousands and thousands of likes. It boosted her confidence for sure lol. Anyway, we both ended up chatting with a few different people. I thought that I didn't really like it and we stopped. After a couple days of thinking on it and talking about it, we revisited it. We started talking to people again. We started talking about having sex with other people, having sex with other people together, going on dates with other people, the whole 9 really. Sometimes I felt like I liked it, and sometimes I didn't. She really starts to take an interest in one guy, and he seemed pretty decent to my knowledge. Well, we went out to the bar one night, and he ended up texting her telling him to meet her at the bar, same bar we were at. It really just pushed the wrong button in me and I think that's the moment I really started to not like it, but at the same time, thought maybe I was just feeling uneasy because it was all new. She told me she wouldn't talk to him that night, it made me feel a little better. Later that night, my wife is drunk as could be lol, she opens her Snapchat and I see her start typing. I playfully ask her about what she's typing, and she tells me that she's texting that guy, don't play. I asked her what she meant by that, and she pretty much avoided telling me. I asked her about it the next morning and she said she had no idea, she was trashed. It upset me a little, but I thought to myself, I signed up for it, they're gonna flirt. She keeps talking to the guy, and seems pretty open about everything that they are talking about. They start talking about maybe going out for dinner and a couple drinks. I thought I was cool with it, so I agreed. She told me that she wouldn't have sex on a first date or mess around at all. I knew my wife years before we got together, I believed her. She asked me what should she do if he tries to kiss her or grab on her any. I told her that was up to her. The day came for her to go. I was feeling really weird about it, but I let it slide for whatever reason. We agreed to meet up after her date and go to the bar with some friends. The restaurant she was at is literally right next to the bar she was meeting our mutual friend at. The whole time she was on that date, I just knew that all this wasn't for me. I felt absolutely terrible. My mind was racing, I felt sick to my stomach. Anyway, we ended up meeting up afterwards. I asked her how her date went, she said it was good and they just talked a lot. She said that when they were both leaving, he hugged her, and grabbed her butt and tried to kiss her, and she said that she pulled away and told him that she couldn't do that, and then he apologized. I figured that she didn't have any reason to lie, because I told her it was her choice. I told her that I really wasn't sure I was interested in doing any of it anymore. She told me she understood, and I said let's just have a good night with each other, and I asked her to not Snapchat, text him for the night while we were together, she agreed. We bar hopped around, drank some, I sobered up, then we called it a night. She was passed out in the car. Her phone kept buzzing, but it wasn't showing any notification. I pretty much knew right then, she had been talking to that guy. We know each other's passcodes and we don't search through each other's phones. It always seemed like neither one of us had anything to hide. I opened her phone, clicked Snapchat, and there it was. She turned her notifications off so that I wouldn't see it. I opened it to a message from him saying something along the lines of, "I didn't see you." I start wondering, was this guy at the bar when we were? How long has she been talking to him tonight? Mind racing. I let it be until we got home and woke her up. We went into TJE house, and I got a little mad about it when I asked about it. It really wasn't a good time to ask her about it at all. She told me that she only messaged him, to make sure that he got home okay, because he had went to a concert after their date, and apparently ended up at the bars around us as well. She said that she should have said something about it, but that she had messaged him while we were in the car with our mutual friend, who doesn't really know anything about the situation. I asked her if she even planned on telling me, and she said that she was going to. This incident has created trust issues with me, whether it should or not. We got into a pretty heated argument, decided to squash it until the next day, and went to sleep. The next day I told her I was done with it all, didn't want anything to do with it, and it was too overwhelming for me. Now, since then, we've been able to have calm discussion about everything. Basically it comes down to this. She told me that she still wants it all. I told her that I don't, simply because I don't feel that it's for me and it will take too much of a mental toll on me and I won't do that to myself. She's going through a lot right now personally, and I feel like she might be chasing a high, so to speak, just to distract her from life right now. But I could be dead wrong. Maybe that's what she actually wants to do. The typical, I want to live, I'm still young, I want to feel free, but I want you to do it as well. She also told me that I'm her best friend, that she wants me to enjoy all of it with her, and hates that I don't feel the same way about it all. She told me that she doesn't want to split up, that I'm everything that she wants in a man, and that no other man could do for her like I do. I never seen this coming, not in a million years. My wife actually used to be a little jealous even over another woman liking my Facebook post lol, and I was always the chill one about her talking to her male friends or whatever. I always confided in her, loved her unconditionally, gave her everything sexually that a woman could ask for from one man. Now I just feel like I can't trust her, like she's not the woman I fell in love with, and definitely like this isn't what I signed up for. I told her I wouldn't do it and I gave her the option. If it's what you want to do, then no hard feelings, but you won't do it with me, it's me or living like that. She said she'd choose me over it all. But I'm wondering now if it's even going to last. A stone has been turned that can't be unturned. Is my marriage fucked? Is it possible to stay together without the open marriage? If my wife can't live like that openly with me, is she going to do it behind my back? It seems to me that she wants the single life but with the security of the marriage. For me personally it would be a deal breaker. Too long did not read. Thought was going to have a FFM threesome, realized she was just shopping for sausages. If you're everything she wants in a man, and no other man could do what you do for her, why does she entertain the thought of messing around with other men? Wouldn't that mean that you're not all she wants? Your marriage is over, bro. Monogamy or lack thereof is a choice. One of two things will happen. She will either decide she doesn't want to lose you and make the choice that monogamy is enough for her, or she will decide that it's not and end up losing you. Some people can live with that choice and some cannot. The only thing I can suggest is be aware. In a perfect world she will admit she wants more and you guys go your separate ways. The reality is she may try and be monogamous and end up telling you later she can't do it or just flat out cheat on you. Whatever happens, all you can do is expect the worst and hope for the best. Don't be blind-sided because you know how your wife is. You have some great advice here already. I believe that you will have a real issue with this one guy because she hid the texts from you and she texted him on your night out. Now you will have OT monitor her. How does she propose to regain your trust? If she continues feeling that she did nothing wrong, then you have an even bigger issue on your hands. Good luck. The thing that I absolutely cannot get past is the disregard for the boundary you set. Don't talk to him anymore tonight. And then to lie about it. Open relationships only work with honesty, so an open relationship with her cannot work because it seems she wasn't dishonest until she opened up the marriage. She wants to have her cake and eat it too. Can't forgive my friend for the things she did while she was drunk. 29F. Used to carpool to work with a colleague, 39F, a few years ago. We'll call her Amy. We kept in touch even after we both no longer worked at the same place, and eventually became friends. Last summer I took some time off work to focus on my mental health and get some therapy. One of my goals was to get outside more and get some exercise. Amy was in the midst of a weight loss journey, so we decided to be workout buddies to keep each other accountable and go for daily walks and hit the gym together 3 times a week. Everything was going great. I was happy to have made a new friend. We started hanging out more, spending time at each other's houses. Occasionally we would have some drinks, but every time we drank together, Amy would completely overdo it and I'd end up either having to take care of her all night, or bring her home and stay at her house until she woke up. She had children and her husband was often away for work, so I'd put her to bed and then sleep on the couch so I could be there in case one of her children woke up and needed something. This got old quickly, so I decided it wouldn't be a good idea to drink together anymore. I told her my concerns and she admitted that she thinks she has a problem with alcohol. I thanked her for opening up to me and asked what kind of support I could provide. Offered to help her find an AA meeting and babysit for her while she attends meetings or therapy, etc. She didn't seem interested. She said she'd prefer to try to stop on her own. Over the next few months she started canceling a bunch of our workout sessions because she was too hungover, then she lost her job due to absenteeism. I think losing her job pushed her over the edge and she started drinking every day. She'd get emotional and ask me to come over and comfort her. A few times I did, but after a while I started feeling more like a caregiver, not a friend, so I started to distance myself a bit. I was at my parents' house for dinner one evening and she texted me. She told me that she was drunk and she really wanted more booze but couldn't drive to the liquor store. She asked me to pick up some drinks for her. I told her I would. I know I'm enabling, but I'd rather bring her booze than have her get in a car drunk and get in an accident. I told her it would be another hour. I was at my parents' house for dinner. She was quiet for a while and then texted me, "Don't worry about it, I'm going to get a cab. Family is important, you enjoy your night with them." I felt relieved, then went back to hanging with my family. I woke up the next morning to find that she had sent me more than a dozen angry text messages, telling me I was a bitch, and a shitty friend. She told me that the N at the liquor store refused to sell her alcohol because she was too drunk and that her whole night was ruined. She then blocked me on all social media. I was alarmed at her outburst and frankly disgusted that she thought it was fine to use the N-word. We are both white. I just decided to cut my losses. It's probably better not to have this person in my life. Later that day she unblocked me and sent me multiple messages apologizing, telling me I'm her only real friend and she had only said those things because she was drunk. She had decided to get help and she was really sorry. I have no interest in still being her friend, and I haven't responded to her texts. I'm glad she's getting help and I wish the best for her, but I'm not in a place where I can support someone through recovery if they're going to have outbursts like this. This was last week and I still haven't spoken to her. Our mutual friends are telling me that I at least owe it to her to give her another chance. My boyfriend thinks it's fine that I don't want to be friends anymore, but says I should at least text her to explain why, instead of ghosting. I don't feel like I owe her an explanation. It should be pretty clear after that outburst why I don't want to talk to her anymore. What do you guys think? Do I owe her another chance? Should I text and tell her why I don't want to be friends anymore? Or just ghost? Edit. The children have been removed from the situation. Their bio dad called Child Protective Services and the little ones are living with him for now. Her oldest son, 21M, is moving back in with her to help out until her life is back on track. You really don't owe her anything. You've already done a lot by helping her home and making sure her children are okay while she's blacked out. She should sort her issue with alcohol out before she asks you for another chance at friendship. Sometimes the best thing you can do for addicts is to bow out of their lives. She's a sinking ship and you don't want to go down with her. Hopefully losing your friendship is the push she needs to actually get help. And if not, that's not your fault or your problem. I'm glad she's getting help and I wish the best for her, but I'm not in a place where I can support someone through recovery if they're going to have outbursts like this. You could say something like this, but then it just opens you up to more drama. I think if you don't want to message her, then don't. I am sure she knows why you don't want to talk to her anymore. It is crazy dangerous that she is drinking so much with kids. If CAS knew, they would be investigating like crazy. It is a very unhealthy place for the kids to be. So sad. She blocked you first. I would play dumb and roll with that. She sounds erratic and unstable. She's dragging you down with you. Time to jump off that sinking ship. Don't text her back. Each time you interact with someone abusive, which she has become, it's another gap for them to try and reel you back in. She knows her behavior was appalling. If you don't respond, she knows why. She doesn't really need an explanation for something that is so obvious. I've been in a similar situation, and the only thing that worked was completely ghosting them. You don't owe her anything. She's an adult and she needs to get her own shit together. She is not your responsibility. You owe her nothing. This woman is very sick and it doesn't justify her abuse. Be honest with people and explain the abuse you got, and the concern for her children mean you are unable to continue that friendship. Also, report her to CPS, the equivalent in your area. My mill is hurting my marriage. My 26F husband, 30M, and I have been married for almost a year now. We've been together for over 4 years now. We never had any big issues during our relationship. Honestly, our relationship was amazing. He's a great guy and super sweet. He encouraged me to stand up to my toxic family and even pursue my passions. We got married last October and were given his family home as a wedding gift, 'cause his father was planning on retiring to NY. But due to COVID and some family issues, his mother chose to not move and live with us. Basically, from what I understand, he moved up there partially to take care of his father. Mill didn't want to 'cause she had beef with the grandpa decades ago and hasn't let the grudge go. So basically, she plans to stay with us until he passes on. Well, my husband and I are expecting a baby in January, so it seemed like a okay situation since we would have some extra hands when baby arrives. The issue is, his mother is a crazy control freak. It started off minor at first. She'd be upset my hair was on the ground. I have long hair where his whole family does not. So I offered to clean more often. Cool. She didn't like any water drops on the counter or floor in the kitchen. Cool, I'll wipe up after dishes. She doesn't like any smells in the kitchen. So we can't use the kitchen. Woozy face. Okay. We own a restaurant, so I guess I'll cook down there. Etc. It slowly just started escalating. Like really badly. It's gotten to the point she blows up at everything and anything. We recently got a dog, because we both wanted one for a while, and she was livid. We keep him in our rooms where she doesn't go, but she still gets angry. We wash him every 14 days, so near the end of the second week, he'll be a little musty. He's a small Maltese mix though, so he barely smells. She says he smells up the whole house, upside down face, so we Febreze often and brush him regularly. She still claims she can smell him. She found a little bit of his fur on the staircase and she had a screaming match with my husband about how repulsive it was. She screamed that we left a chair in front of the stove area. Wasn't a danger, but it was in her way. It's gotten to the point she's acting like a little child anytime something isn't exactly to her standards. She lashes out if we leave a jacket on the couch for over a day. She gets furious if we have too many things in the fridge. She screamed at us 'cause I forgot to close the dish soap cap once. We asked her not to come into our bedroom or office, partly 'cause our dog likes to hang out in there, but she goes in there when we're gone to turn up the thermostat. We all agreed to keep it at 80 when we're not upstairs, and now for some reason she goes into our private bedroom and sets it to 81 every day. Look of triumph. It's literally like dealing with a teenage daughter we never wanted. It's getting to the point it's hurting our marriage. We fight about his mom all the time and I'm super anxious around her 'cause I'm just waiting for her to explode about a pen being out of place or something. I jump every time she yells and I know it's adding stress to my baby. He's tried talking to her but she just blows up and screams at him. We feel like we're out of options. She has nowhere else to go, so we're even contemplating moving out. But this home was a huge blessing and it helps us save up so much for our little girl. I love this house and IDK if we could financially afford getting a house right now. But if this keeps up, I don't think our marriage will hold up. We're always on edge 'cause his mom, and it puts us both in a bad mood every day. We're both just tired. We're gonna try marriage counseling starting next week, but IDK how that'll fix his mom. Any advice? Too long did not read. Mill is a crazy control freak and the stress from it is slowly breaking up our marriage. I think at this point it's either best to kick her out or move out. Info. Is the house in your names or still in your in-laws' name? Because honestly I don't think you have a choice at this point but to no longer coexist with this woman. She's literally ruling every aspect of your lives, and it's also not fair to keep your dog penned in rooms just because she doesn't like the dog. You have to move. If the house is in your name, give her an official eviction notice, usually 30 days, so everything is legal. If not, please start looking for another place. It's not worth what it's doing to your family to stay. Your Mill never wanted to leave the house, and probably she wants to live there by herself, and she is just trying that you go away fast. I think your Phil left you a Trojan horse-free house so he could dump this raging pustule on you both. It's not worth your health, marriage, future, so move. Mill made her choice. What are your choices? Who does the house belong to legally? If it belongs to you and your husband, Mill leaves. If it belongs to her, you and husband need to move. Yes, it sucks. But young couples do it all the time. Trust me. Your child would much prefer a happy home with two parents as anything you can give her by saving money living in a war zone. Were you and DH really given the house, as in, your names are on the title and nobody else's is? If so, put the house up for sale and buy another. It's up to Mill and Phil to decide where she lives and how her life is financed. Start acting like it's your house. Cook in it. Tell her if she doesn't like it, she can leave. I say you, but I mean you and your husband. Your kids are going to grow up thinking this behavior is normal and start throwing their own tantrums. Are you going to appease them too? Move out or kick her out. He should let his dad know that the two of you can't live with her and it's not healthy for the baby. When the house was gifted to you, did they do a quit claim or anything legal? My wife cheated on me. I, 25 male, spent most of yesterday trying to sort out my thoughts and feelings while my 23 female wife was asleep. She works graveyards and cheated on me with a police officer she works with. When we started our talk yesterday, she said she still doesn't think she did anything wrong and claims that she wasn't active in the inappropriate touching or kissing. It's like she planned on how to get this guy to feel her up and still have some deniability. I brought up contacting this guy's wife and telling her what happened, and she won't stop saying it's none of our business. I asked her who she thinks the US is in that because it's my business and I don't think she should have to stay in a relationship with a guy who does that stuff behind her back. I work a part-time job right now as a first responder in the same city this guy is a cop in. I'm worried because I'm not the kind of person who would see him walk by while working an event and just say nothing. It's not who I am, and I owe myself at least a good solid giving him a piece of my mind. It seems like she feels bad for all the wrong reasons. In fact, when I dropped our son off at my parents' office, I ran into my mill. Her daughter was receiving care from my dad. And told her what happened because I was visibly distraught and crying. That was the day I found out. When I told my wife where our son was so we could have the talk about how she cheated on me and I found out, the first words out of her mouth were, "Did you tell my mom?" My wife is upset because our son is really distant with her and super close with me. I'm a full-time parent and she has spent the last 3 months emotionally distancing herself from us. I thought she was going through a tough time. And she might be, but now I think it was so she could cheat on me and not feel guilty. In fact, the last 2 arguments we have had were about seemingly insignificant stuff that I had already apologized for that she would then bring back up and blow out of proportion. Like cleaning. I don't clean enough. I do clean, but I also am a full-time parent to a whirlwind of a 2-year-old. I can clean in the morning and by noon it looks just as dirty. One time she drove us to the store, parked, and I asked her to park in a different spot because our son was getting sun right in his face. She just threw her arms up in the air and started to drive us home. We went there because she wanted to get ice cream on a hot day. She would also go to this bastard cop for emotional support after we argued about all these little things. Only through text, but she let me read through them and it seemed like she was always making me out to be the bad guy after these fights. I rarely get angry, when I do it's just raised voice and more animated gestures. I don't hit people when I'm mad, and I don't throw things. She's making me feel crazy, and it doesn't seem like she feels bad about what happened. She held this guy's hand while he kissed her all over and he put his hand under her shirt. Every time she says she was the passive party I get more upset. She wrote in her diary that she wants this guy, and reading through her texts, he was the one to shut it down. Between her texts and her diary entries, I fully believe she would have had sex with him if she had been able to get him alone. We scheduled counseling, but we're also going to the bank today to sign her off of my checking account. I also have a consultation with a lawyer next week. I'll post the original account of events in the comments. Dude, this marriage is over. You realize that, right? If she can't even own her part in the behavior, this will go nowhere. Divorce her now. You caught her cheating, and she doesn't care. She's either cheated before, or will cheat again. She has shown disrespect to you in multiple ways. Cheating on you. Not caring about it, emotional support, bad-mouthing to her cheat partner. She only cares about how it makes her look. This is not some indiscretion from a moment of weakness. This is selfish and self-centered behavior. She is either a narcissist or BPD. Either way, run. Oh, brutal. Divorce that person. She sees no wrong in it and is actively making you feel crazy to cover it. You telling her mother made it harder for her and put her in a corner. She can't lie to her mother like she can gaslight you. That affair will continue regardless of what you do, and your son shouldn't be around someone like that. Contact a lawyer. Get STD tested and get therapy going for you and your son. Wish you the best. You're fighting an uphill battle for a woman who cares only about herself. There's no reasoning with someone who doesn't know, or even have a clue that they are in the wrong. Divorce seems to be the only reasonably evident thing to do. And for sure tell the wife of the AP, but knowing the not-so-subtly douchey attitude of the cop AP, you'll get backlash like whoa. So good luck. Document every freaking thing. Cops and lawyers get away with literal murder because they know how to fudge the system. Don't let them by not doing your due diligence. From what I gather, you seem to have a very high tolerance for bullshit behavior. In proportion as you continue to have that, manipulative, women will continue to treat you like shit. It always strikes me how easily everyone would be saved a whole lot of trouble if men merely told their wives, girlfriends straight up, "If you wish to remain in my company, I will not be tolerating this type of behavior. This marriage is over." If it is not over to you, seeing as your investment in it is clouding your objective judgment, it is definitely over to her, at least by her actions. You better get a lawyer before her psychotic ass does and take you for everything. Even though she's wrong. Do it quick. She feels no remorse. She wasn't passive. She wanted him to do it, and that is it. She has signed out of your marriage. You are doing the right thing getting your ducks in a row because you will need all that you can during the divorce. Leave. She has no remorse and see nothing wrong with what she did. Get all your financials in order if you have a joint ACCT, remove half and deposit it in your personal account. Have draft of separation agreement done ASAP. Get yourself tested for STD, STI just to be safe. Also run a DNA test with your son, just to show your wife you have zero trust with her. Good luck.